It's 22 minutes past 7 if you need to be somewhere, and I know that this is a subject close to a lot of our hearts if you are a motorist, because the government is announcing plans to help drivers cut the cost of running a car. Sounds good, doesn't it? They include a freeze on MOT prices and also a scheme to reduce the cost of fuel at motorway service stations. I've told you about my little price comparison escapade, haven't I, up the A1? Well, there are also calls for local authorities to publish annual reports to show exactly how they spend the money generated from parking fines. It's a question that is always being asked, isn't it? Especially of us to them. Plus, ministers want to crack down on whiplash fraud. Well, the Justice Secretary, Chris Grayling, says in future only independently verified injury claims will be accepted. In a moment, I'm going to talk to David Ward. He's the MP for Bradford East. But here's what Chris Grayling had to say.
Those claims are now going to be assessed by an independent doctor. As of the moment, it's your claims management company or solicitor who arranges the medical investigation. That's not going to happen in future. We want assessments to be completely independent so we know genuinely whether people have been injured or not. We think that'll put an end to fraudulent claims and will help bring down insurance premiums.
So that's Chris Grayling. Let's talk to David Ward. He's the MP for Bradford East, and he's spoken in Parliament in the past and campaigned about car insurance costs and also the claims. Good morning, David. Thanks so much for joining me this morning.
No, thanks, and thanks for covering the story again, Jude. I know we've spoken before about this, but I think we're winning on this one, slow but surely.
We talk about the independent medical panels to root out fraudulent claims. It's a good idea, but how are they going to do it?
Well, what we're trying to do really is just make it less easy. It is just all too easy, it has been in the past, for people to put these fraudulent claims in, the crash for cash claims. The culture seemed to be that this is just too easy. You know, you go in the pub, you've had an accident, you tell your mate about it, your mate says, well, why don't you claim? You say, well, there's nothing wrong with me. They said, don't worry about that. Just put the claim in. They never check on it. You'll automatically get £2,000-3,000, and it was all just too easy. So this is about saying if you've got you've had an accident, an injury, then there must be some proof of it. It's just about making it more difficult and getting away from this crazy cycle of ever-increasing car insurance premiums, resulting really predominantly from personal injury claims.
And of course, we all get affected by this in our own insurance policies. Who's at fault for these whiplash claims? Why has it become such a problem, David?
Well, I think the problem has been, Judge, is that it's got out of hand. It was simply spiralling out of control. We did a report, as you remember, a couple of years ago, saying this just can't go on. Everybody was coming in and telling me that this thing was out of control and getting worse and worse, and something needed to happen. Somebody's got to do something. Now, it wasn't one thing. That's why it's been so difficult. It wasn't just this. It wasn't insured drivers. It was about referral fees and legal costs. And each bit we've had to go at through the government. We've sought to try and remedy this. But the whiplash claims, at the end of the day, we've had a reduction in the number of injuries, accidents, but what's happened is the number of claims and the value of those claims has gone up. But this is good news. Apparently, and we're told, there's been a reduction in the insurance premiums, around about 12%. It's the largest reduction since 1994. So it's all good news, and I'm pleased to say it's all heading in the right direction now.
Now, the main thing for me is fuel prices, and I've recounted a tale of me travelling up the A1 on Sunday, and I managed to get diesel for 139.9, and my heart, the glee I had at seeing other petrol stations on the way up at 143.9. What can they do about the fuel prices? Because we all say, well, it's because we had to buy it at the peak, but, we surely had a dip at one point.
Well, it is about knowing in advance, particularly on service stations, what you're going to be paying, because once you pull off the service station, then you're likely to get the fuel there rather than drive off again to the next one, especially, of course, if you're short of fuel.
Exactly.
So it gives you well in advance notification of that. But this is all just about a package, really, of measures to try and reduce the cost of motoring. These are, for many, many people, of inescapable cost. They have to have a vehicle. If it's for work, then, of course, they may need it. And this is about with the... everybody's under the cosh, aren't they, Judges?
Absolutely. And we all have to travel, don't we, David? And I really appreciate your time with us this morning. David Ward, MP for Bradford East.